So that's another project finished. Just to run over the major joinery, the base leg section is a piece of 4x3. I've cut into it at the bottom to relieve areas between 3 foot pads on each end. 2 uprights for the table. I've got full width tenons on them, 1 inch thick. As things dry out, I'll be able to drive wedges down the sides of those tenons just to tighten everything up a bit. And it's the same on the top rail, which is again a 4x3, full width tenons. The centre rail, which runs between the 2 feet, is a 4x2. That's just at the moment got a central fixing through into the rails to avoid any major splitting that might occur there. And then there's a brace that runs from the foot rail up to the top rail at an angle of about 60 degrees, which is mortised into the foot rail, and a bird's mouth onto the inside of the top rail. The benches, 2 3x3s with full width tenons at the bottom, and then a 2-inch tenon at the top, leaving a bit more meat on the bench rail. All the tabletop and bench slats are fixed at the moment with a single pocketed screw from the inside of the rails going into the middle of the slats. As they shrink back and acclimatise, it's then possible to put a pair of screws through from the top to hold them a little bit more firmly, but it's not going anywhere at the moment. All the ends of the slats have been beveled around to soften them, and the lengths have all had the edges rounded off. I've knocked the corners off the benches and off the tabletop just to avoid any painful knocks to the shins or the hips. A central rail helps tie all the tabletop slats together to keep the tabletop nice and flat, to stop glasses and plates etc. tipping up. And you can see here a bit more clearly the bracing for the end rails. Because things are going to move slightly as they dry out, this mortise and tenon joint at the bottom here is reinforced with a central screw through it, and the bird's mouth is prevented from moving left and right with a screw through the middle of that into the rail. And you can see along here the pocket holes for the pocket screws into the slats, and again underneath for the bench. To give you an idea of the dimensions, the full bench length is 7 feet. The width of the top is just over 29 inches. The width of the benches 10 inches. The overall width is just over 60 inches, 5 foot. Height of the benches is 18 inches, and the height of the tabletop 30 inches. Very easy to get into because there's not the normal picnic bench bracing going on there. You can just walk through. And as far as capacity goes, that's 12 people. As this project's got to be assembled elsewhere, I've pinned on some locating slats underneath the bench and tabletop slats, identified them with numbers to match the joints, and I can unscrew these slats, take them off in pairs for the benches, and I'm doing it in threes for the tabletop, and that'll be a lot easier to reassemble when I get to the other end.